Hey, Sapta, we get to do the fun part for all our audience. We're going to have our countdown of customers, right?
Yes.
So this is my favorite part, guys. So we're in break again. This is the last part of our break, but we have some time to have some fun. So stay with us. You'll learn a lot. So, Sapta, you were starting to tell me about a customer story. Let's do a rewind and start again.
Prologis.
Prologis, okay.
So, I was talking to Luke again after we were trying to talk. So Luke basically mentioned that so they want to time the market. When I said earlier time to market, it's rather time the market. So timing the market means, let's say they're bringing up a new building.
Yes.
The materials, raw materials they're acquiring, those prices vary over the year.
Yeah.
And so they have to time it properly to acquire those materials so that it's lower cost. At the same time, they need to bring the building to the market at the right time because there is a demand for that particular building.
Right.
And they need to kind of outcompete their competition. And that's exactly what they're trying to do with data virtualization. So they have a bunch of data scientists at Prologis, and these data scientists are doing analytics, pricing analytics, supply chain analytics, and things like that.
Wow.
And that's exactly, I mean, Denodo is at the heart of that.
So it's cost, schedule, and quality of the building, delivered on time.
Delivered on time, making customers happy.
All right.
Prologis is doing with data virtualization.
Very good. And we saw them today. Well, let me give you one that I'm going to sort of take our customers here or viewers here on a little bit of a global journey.
Let's do that.
Because even though this is a North America conference, we're doing some fantastic things around the world. One of my stories, and again, this is in no particular order, just things that appeal to me, is a manufacturing company near Stuttgart in Germany. They're called Festo. And what Festo does is all of these automation equipment for manufacturing, conveyor belts, pneumatic controls, etc. Now, when they acquired Denodo, they had a broader vision of an architecture that was going to enable their digital transformation. But they recognized in order for their management and everybody to see the power of what DV can do, they had to have a high visibility use case. So they built what was called the clean energy dashboards, because at that particular time in the company, there was a lot of emphasis on reducing the power consumption across all their manufacturing plants and kind of going green. So what they did, they also wanted to showcase the power of data everywhere, or what we call data democratization. So they collected data from utilities, from all of their plant sensors, or meaning manufacturing sensors, so IoT in a sense, as well as their parts, inventory, etc., the product diagram, if you will. And they were able to assemble all this together to say exactly which plant, which production line, which product consumed how much energy to produce. Mm-hmm. And when they put that in the hands of the actual machine operators, they also gave the ability, like we've been talking about here, data and analytics is not just about data and analytics, it's about making it actionable. So they put this in the hands of the people so they could modify the lubrication schedule and the maintenance schedules to reduce energy consumption.
Correct.
So this was a very nice story, done in about 6, 7, 8 weeks, and really showcased the power.
And they're calling it Industry 4.0. Have you heard
that? They're calling it Industry 4.0, and they even won an award for this Green Energy Cockpit Industry 4.0 concept.
Excellent.
Now back to you. Let's see if you can beat me on that.
Bring our audience back to North America again.
All right.
So I'm going to talk about, so when you go to restaurants and you are eating your food, you get this really nice fragrances, right? They spice up with different spices and all.
Yes. I'm an Indian guy. I love spicy food.
Love spicy food.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the big spice companies here delivering spices to different restaurants and stuff? They're McCormick. Have you heard of them?
McCormick, of course. It's in the grocery store shelves. Salt, pepper, cayenne, all these stuff.
All these brands. Yeah. So it's all about McCormick. So what McCormick was trying to do is that they got into this project with a bunch of other companies, but as a company, what they were trying to do is quality of spice. Mm-hmm. Some spices are not up to the mark, and obviously you don't want to miss that fragrance or that spice that you really like. So for that quality assurance, they are trying to build some machine learning algorithms inside the company. So they have created a loop where their algorithm is developed by developers, but then that is fed to the machine, and machine is learning in the sense how to create better algorithm, make the spice level and the fragrance and everything good.
Find the right formula.
Find the right formula.
Right.
And for that, this machine learning project, it is being fed a lot of things through data services.
Like what kind of data would we be sending to these machine learning applications?
And so they're getting some of these data from their partners, which is coming from outside. So there is
like focus group data
data, or maybe the partners they're working with in developing this product.
The raw materials,
and stuff. So what happens is that as part of that, there is data movement in and out of the company. But when there is such a data movement, they also want to make sure there is data governance and security in place. And Denodo is doing exactly that for McCormick.
Okay, well, I know that when I was talking to I didn't know what went into making all this, but when I was talking to our customer, they talked about McCormick One. This is supposed to be the single packet spice that's supposed to bring out all these emotional flavors. I'm going to go try that out.
Okay, very good, very good.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to go to a customer story. Sometimes we encounter a customer that is a product that we want to use. Everyone wants to wear Nike shoes or, those kinds of things. But there are some customers that are doing fantastic work in helping their patients, but you wish that you would never become their patient again. And that such a company is one of the leading dialysis kidney care providers in the country. They're called DaVita.
Yeah.
I was just talking to them, of course. And one of the interesting reasons I like the DaVita story is that they're not just only using it for analytics. In fact, it's kind of like the tool data virtualization Denodo was given to the EAI group, which is more about application-to-application integration. And so they were using this much more to feed triggers from various different applications that would come in through Kafka, which would have otherwise come in through message-oriented middleware. And then those triggers alert the applications that need to consume a holistic view of the data to go and fetch it. But instead of putting together the pieces little by little and delivering it one message at a time to the applications, what they're doing is they're triggering their different applications to tell the receiving application that my data is ready. But those applications then come and make a data API call to Denodo and then get the data. So it's a kind of an interesting use case.
Excellent use case, actually.
They've actually gone further and said that they do a lot of data transformations. Like, you have a patient order that needs to be processed and converted to a different format, which is called a FHIR. It's a medical format that is HIPAA compliant, and then be transferred to another lab, and then transferred from there to actually performing the test. So this transformation process in the past used to be delivered through message-oriented middleware, again what we call ESBs, etc. And today it's still being delivered through different messaging. But what they've done is they have put Denodo on top to look at the source, the message queues, the destination number 1, destination number 2, and they're able to monitor if the order is in process, it has moved, and in the process, where is it stuck, etc. So Denodo has become some kind of an operational dashboard for transactional movement of orders. That I thought was another very interesting non-BI, non-analytic use case. So that's the reason I picked DaVita to tell the story.
That's
back
awesome.
to you.
So back to me. Okay. So let's talk about one of our very old customer, Autodesk.
Okay.
So they're like the biggest name in 3D CAD design. They started their data virtualization journey long time back. They were moving from like perpetual license to subscription license and whatnot. So they have done a lot around with data virtualization. Recently, GDPR.
Yes.
How it was
GDPR is the European law protecting the privacy of customers.
Right?
Exactly.
That became big for companies in North America who have some operations going on in Europe, vice versa, right? So all these things are hitting the companies, and they were going to incur millions of dollars of fine. When I spoke to Kurt Jackson from Autodesk, who's going to present very soon, so Kurt Jackson was like, GDPR was the most critical thing few months back for them. And they had tried and tested data virtualization. So when they were trying to be GDPR compliant, there was a manual process of doing it. But now he was like, think of a customer who have brought 5 different products from Autodesk. So their own social security information, their email ID, their name, everything is across systems. It's not just one system. So when you are trying to delete, if you are doing it manually, you have to go and find that information for that particular customer. And there are zillions of such customers for Autodesk. And they have to find all those information from different source systems.
Okay.
What they did is, so what he at least told me is it was going to take months, not even weeks. And there was a point where they thought it has to be done in the next few days, not months or weeks. And that was only possible because of data virtualization, because Denodo now brought all the data together, it connected to all sorts of systems. So now you just need to find those guys who needs their system, information to be deleted from the system.
Exactly.
And within a click, everything was gone. You were compliant with GDPR.
Right. In fact, what I like really about not just the GDPR story, I think our audience have probably seen Autodesk present multiple years.
Correct.
And I thought you were going to tell me an old story, but you told me a new story.
Yeah.
And I know what that means, that our customers just don't stop using this. They have evolution of more and more and more uses for data virtualization.
And not only that, have you heard of CCPA? So
yes, the California Protection.
The California Consumer Protection Act. So now these guys are also thinking from CCPA standpoint.
How they can
it's
do
evolving actually, and that's
Very
where
good.
the data virtualization is solving for this guy.
Very good. Well, if you're wondering how this guy knows so much about customers, he is our Director of Customer Marketing, Saptarshi Sengupta. And so it's been a pleasure to share some notes. And I'm going to bring on our next guests. And thank you very much, Sapta.
Thank you.
A
was
great.
a pleasure.